As Swami Vivekananda's European journey nears its end, his reflections on the English people and his growing detachment from worldly affairs offer profound insights. Dive into the last stages of his time in the West, where his thoughts on spirituality and the human condition reach new depths. Welcome back to our series on the extraordinary life of Swami Vivekananda. In this episode, we explore Vivekananda's final reflections on his work in England, his evolving views on the English people, and his deepening desire to transcend worldly concerns. Join us as we delve into the profound realizations and spiritual musings of a man on the brink of a transformative journey back to India. Regarding his experience and work in England, he told the Hale sisters in a letter that it was a roaring success. To another American friend, he wrote that he believed in the power of the English to assimilate great ideas, and that though the process of assimilation might be slow, it would be all the more sure and abiding. He believed that the time would come when distinguished ecclesiastics of the Church of England, imbued with the idealism of Vedanta, would form a liberal community within the Anglican Church itself, supporting the universality of religion both in vision and in practice. But what he admired most in England was the character of the English people, their steadiness, thoroughness, loyalty, devotion to the ideal, and perseverance to finish any work that they undertook. His preconceived idea about the English was thoroughly changed when he came to know them intimately. "No one," he said later, addressing the Hindus of Kolkata, "ever landed on English soil feeling more hatred in his heart for a race than I did for the English. The iniquities of the colonial rule in India were deeply impressed in his mind. There is none among you who loves the English people more than I do." He wrote to the Hale sisters on November 28, 1896, "The English are not so bright as the Americans, but once you touch their heart, it is yours forever. I now understand why the Lord has blessed them above all other races, steady, sincere to the backbone, with great depths of feeling, only with a crust of stoicism on the surface. If that is broken, you have your man." In another letter, "You know, of course, the steadiness of the English. They are, of all nations, least jealous of each other, and that is why they dominate the world. They have solved the secret of obedience without slavish cringing, great freedom with law-abidingness." On still another occasion, he called the English a nation of heroes, the true Kshatriyas. "Their education is to hide their feelings and never to show them. If you know how to reach the English heart, he is your friend forever. If he has once an idea put into his brain, it never comes out, and the immense practicality and energy of the race makes it sprout up and immediately bear fruit." The Swami felt that the finger of God had brought about the contact between India and England. The impact created by the aggressive British rule, on the one hand, awakened the Hindu race from its slumber of ages, and on the other hand, offered India opportunities to spread her spiritual message throughout the Western world. He wrote to Mr. Leggett on July 6, 1896, "The British Empire, with all its evils, is the greatest machine that ever existed for the dissemination of ideas. I mean to put my ideas in the center of this machine, and it will spread them all over the world. Of course, all great work is slow and the difficulties are too many, especially as we Hindus are a conquered race. Yet that is the very reason why it is bound to work, for spiritual ideals have always come from the downtrodden. The downtrodden Jews overwhelmed the Roman Empire with their spiritual ideals. You will be pleased to learn that I am also learning my lesson every day in patience and above all in sympathy. I think I am beginning to see the divine even inside the bullying Anglo-Indians. I think I am slowly approaching to that state when I would be able to love the very devil himself, if there were any." Though Swami Vivekananda himself spoke highly of the effect of his teachings in England, he did not start any organized work there as he did in the United States of America. From his letters and conversations, one learns that he was growing weary of the world, though he was at the peak of his success as far as public activity was concerned. He began to feel a longing for the peace that comes from total absorption in the Supreme Spirit. He sensed that his earthly mission was over. On August 23, 1896, he wrote to a friend from Lucerne, "I have begun the work, let others work it out." So, you see, to set the work going, I had to defile myself by touching money and property for a time. Now I am sure my part of the work has been done, and I have no more interest in Vedanta or any philosophy in the world or in the work itself. I am getting ready to depart, to return no more to this hell, this world. Even its religious utility is beginning to pall on me. These works and doing good and so forth are just a little exercise to cleanse the mind. I have had enough of it. He was losing interest even in the American program, which he himself had organized. In the letter quoted above, the Swami wrote, "If New York or Boston or any other place in the US needs Vedanta teachers, they must receive them, keep them, and provide for them. As for me, I am as good as retired. I have played my part in the world." To Swami Abhedananda, he confided one day about this time that he was going to live for 5 or 6 years at the most. The brother disciple said in protest that he was a young man and that he should not think of death. "But," Vivekananda said, "you are a fool. You do not understand. My soul is getting bigger and bigger every day. The body can hardly contain it. Any day it may burst this cage of flesh and bone." The world was leaving him. The string of the kite by which it was fastened to earth was breaking. The reader may recall that Sri Ramakrishna spoke of Vivekananda as a free soul whom he had dragged down from the realm of the Absolute to help him in his mission on earth. A temporary veil, necessary for physical embodiment and work, was put on this soul so that it might dwell in the world to help men in their search for spiritual freedom. But now, as the veil was becoming thinner, the Swami began to get a glimpse of the real freedom. He realized that the world was the Leela, the play of the Divine Mother, and it would continue as long as she wanted it. On August 8, 1896, he wrote from Switzerland to Goodwin, "I am much refreshed now. I look out of the window and see the huge glaciers just before me and feel that I am in the Himalayas. I am quite calm. My nerves have regained their accustomed strength, and little vexations like those you write of do not touch me at all. How shall I be disturbed by this child's play? The whole world is mere child's play, preaching, teaching, and all included. Know him to be a sannyasin who neither hates nor desires. What is to be desired in this little mud puddle of a world with its ever-recurring misery, disease, and death? He who has given up all desires, he alone is happy. This rest, eternal, peaceful rest, I am catching a glimpse of it now in this beautiful spot. If a man knows the Atman as I am this, then desiring what and for whose sake will he suffer in the wake of the body? I feel as if I have had my share of experience in what they call work. I am finished. I am longing to get out now. With this growing detachment from the world, the idea of good and evil, without the consciousness of which no work is possible, began to drop away. The Swami was realizing an intense love for God. In that mood, a great exaltation would come over him, and the whole universe would seem to him an eternal garden where an eternal child plays an eternal game. In that mood of delirious joy, he had written on July 6, 1896, to Francis Leggett, his friend and disciple, "At 20, I was a most unsympathetic, uncompromising fanatic. I would not walk on the footpath on the theatre side of the street in Kolkata. At 33, I can live in the same house with prostitutes and never would think of saying a word of reproach to them. Is it degeneration? Or is it that I am broadening out into that universal love which is the Lord himself? Some days I get into a sort of ecstasy. I feel that I must bless everyone, every being, love and embrace every being, and I literally see that evil is a delusion. I bless the day I was born. I've had so much of kindness and love here, and that love infinite who brought me into being has guided every one of my actions, good or bad. Don't be frightened. For what am I? What was I ever? But a tool in his hands, for whose service I have given up everything, my beloved, my joy, my life, my soul. He is my playful darling. I am his playfellow. There is neither rhyme nor reason in the universe. What reason binds him? He, the playful one, is playing. These tears and laughter are all parts of the play. Great fun, as Joe says. It is a funny world, and the funniest chap you ever saw is he, the beloved. Infinite fun, is it not? Brotherhood or playmatehood? A shoal of romping children let out to play in this playground of the world, isn't it? Whom to praise, whom to blame? It is all his play. They want an explanation, but how can you explain him? He is brainless, nor has he any reason. He is fooling us with little brains and reasons, but this time he won't find me napping, you bet. I have learnt a thing or two. Beyond reason and learning and talking is the feeling, the love, the beloved. Sake friend, fill the cup and we will be mad. Yours ever in madness, Vivekananda. In a philosophical mood, he spoke about the illusion of progress. He did not believe in the possibility of transforming this earth into a heaven where misery would be totally eliminated and happiness alone would reign in its place. True freedom and bliss could be attained only by the individual and not by the masses as a whole. He wrote to Goodwin on August 8, 1896. A good world, a happy world, social progress are equally intelligible as hot ice, dark light, etc. If it were good, it would not be the world. The soul foolishly thinks of manifesting the infinite in finite matter, the intelligence through gross particles, and at last finds out its error and tries to escape. This going back is the beginning of religion, and its method, destruction of self, that is, love. Not love for wife or child or anybody else, but love for everything else except this little self. Never be deluded by the tall talk, of which you will hear a lot in America about human progress and such stuff. There is no progress without regression. In our next episode, we will follow Swami Vivekananda's return to India. This episode reveals his reflections on the contrasts between Eastern spirituality and Western progress, his profound visions during his voyage, and his preparation for his monumental mission in his homeland. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into Swami Vivekananda's final reflections and the beginning of his next great chapter. Thank you for listening till the end. Please subscribe, turn on the notifications, like, comment, and share with your friends. This will help more listeners to discover our channel and content.